Hey guys, welcome back to another episode with Alison Fuller, who is really a sister of another mother. When you hear her story and how she used to work for Big Pharma, just like me, and how she was able to step into the online entrepreneurial space back when she was working full time and building that business to a place where she could break free and ultimately start an online coaching business outside of the first business in e-commerce that set her free. If her story of serial entrepreneurship and her tips and tricks for living a fuller, healthier lifestyle does not get you motivated to take action, I don't know what will. I hope you guys enjoy this. Hey gang, Melissa Hinault here with the Burnout to All Out podcast. I'm a mom of three, corporate burnout that built a secondary six-figure income around my 9 to 5 with little kids. This set me free and allowed me to fire my boss and pursue my wildest dreams. It took grit, persistence, and belief. But now, operating multiple six-figure businesses as an online entrepreneur and business coach, I have become a serial entrepreneur with a passion to inspire more burnouts to take the leap and go all out and live out their dreams. Each week, I'll bring you inspiring all-out guests, lifestyle business tips, and tools to empower you to take the leap from burnout employee to all-out entrepreneur, making your passion your paycheck. If this mom of three, corporate burnout, can go all out, so can you. We're here. We have Alison Fuller here. Welcome to the Burnout to All Out show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I checked out your profile on LinkedIn this morning because that's what I do. And I see that you're a fellow corporate dropout. So this is going to be a really fun interview.
Yes, ma'am.
Alison Fuller is the founder and CEO of the Fuller Lifestyle Health Coaching. She helps busy women intentionally design the life they want through developing the habits they need in order to create the healthy lifestyle they desire. So I'm excited to kind of unpack some of that towards the end of the interview. But first, I want to go all the way back to your pharma days, because you and I are like sisters from another mother. You worked for a big Fortune 500 or a big pharma company. So did I. Yeah. And you've made this transition over a series of kind of leaps of faith. And now you are like crushing it as an online entrepreneur and coach. I want to go all the way back to the days of carrying the bag, selling the drugs, hanging out in the drug room, right? At what point in your 9 to 5 career did you, where in that transition, like where did you decide there has to be more or I'm open to doing something different? Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Yeah, absolutely. In college, I thought I was going to go be a physician. I was an athlete in high school. I was super interested in sports medicine. I liked helping people. And I fell into sports medicine, athletic training at Royal Marymount University. And I worked all 4 years as an athletic trainer and was able to travel with all the sports teams. Like I was the person that would run out on the field when someone would get injured. That's an athletic trainer. And when I graduated, it was like thinking about, career outside of college. And I learned that the head athletic trainer at Notre Dame University, and this was like 1996, was making like 25 grand a year. And I was like, that's very strange. So I ultimately got into sales. I started in technology sales and I sold like cell phones when they were this big. And I loved the flexibility that a sales career gave me, and it's good at it. And then when I had my first daughter, who's now 19, I was still very interested in the medical field. And at that time, the pharma industry was booming. And it was like the best job you could have in that time period. And I landed a job with a big pharma company here in Orange County. I had a great territory. I had great partners. I had great products. And after, 8 years, I was pregnant with my third. And it was like the industry had changed so much over that time period to where I really just like felt like I was a glorified UPS delivery person. Yeah, I had this wheelie cart. And if I didn't have coffee in the end, I got the eye roll. And I really felt like all I did was like take orders for staff lunches. That's what I was doing. Right. And like maybe I would get in with the position for like my first couple of years were very entrepreneurial. There was access to physicians and I had great relationships, but it just kind of declined. And I looked at like people that I worked with that were fine with that. They were like, it's a delivery job. We just go out and deliver coffee. And then I was like, I don't want to deliver coffee. Something else. Right. And that's really pregnant with my third, really got me thinking I'm still young, still in my mid-30s. Like what is it that I want to be doing, for that next stage of my life where I could feel purposeful and feel like I had made an impact in the day versus just collect the great paycheck and the 401k the company got. And that's what, led me into direct sales. And I vividly just remember like the first couple of events that I did and I walked in and people were like, yay, you're here. And I had spent like 8 years being like, oh God, it's you again. Being able to have people excited to be around me and then just the element of growing a business and being able to interact with women and help them set goals, achieve new things, stretch themselves out of the comfort zone. It was exactly what I was looking for.
Oh, so awesome. Okay. So question here, because I know some people in my community are wondering, because we're streaming live into the LinkedIn Method Academy, who are all online entrepreneurs, a number of them in network marketing. Did you just gamble in and leave your job? Or did you build a business of critical mass and make a decision to quit? What did that look like? So I started when I was like 6 months pregnant. I started in April of 2009. And then I went on maternity leave and Charlie was in the baby before at like 3 weeks after he was born. And I was out working minutes. And I was in the hospital on my laptop. With the C-section, you get 4 days in the hospital. So I was definitely driven and focused on using that maternity time to, possibly let me not have to go back after my maternity leave was over. And I was very pregnant for the first few months of business and working long hours. There were lots of people that were like, you are crazy. I'm like, well, but we were in a ton of debt. I had a very big why. And so then I ended up quitting my job in January 2020. I hadn't replaced my income at the time, but it was definitely that like leap of faith of saying, like, I know I can do this. I believe in myself. I've had the company that I enjoy working with and the passion and the drive to do it. And then I said goodbye to the 9 to 5. Right. Oh my gosh. I love it. So do you know that I was pregnant with my third when I made the decision that I was going to leave? And I told my boss when the baby was born, I was on maternity leave, that I wasn't coming back. And he actually begged me to stay through the end of this year, which would have made me come back and work for like 2 or 3 months just to hire another team for them before I left. I didn't have to leave the house. The baby was there, all the things, right? But it's so crazy. We have very similar stuff, right? And that baby, he turns 12 tomorrow. And it feels like it was yesterday. Yeah. And how do you feel about the life you've been able to create with those children over the last 12 years in that leap of faith?
I mean, I get the chills just thinking about it. And I've been lucky to be able to have a career where we have designed our life around our kids and their schedule. Has it been easy? No. But has it been worth it? Yes. And they know. A friend of mine once said, being a stay-at-home mom, like you teach your kids a lot of things. And being a working mom, you teach your children a lot of things. And there's not one that's right or the other. But when you're a working mom from home, like your kids are able to learn entrepreneurism and, setting goals and achieving goals and not achieving goals. And, they get to witness it all of the messy. And that definitely shapes them. And it's a conversation in our family. And it is part of the foundation and the infrastructure of our family is that, attitude and effort are everything. Results can't control what you can't control. So, but you can't control your attitude and your effort. And I'm so confident that has shaped who they are as humans they are today.
Hey there, we're going to take a brief little interruption. I think you guys will love why I'm doing this little interruption. And that is because we hear from you all the time over in the Burnout to All Out community on our Facebook page. You've got questions, you want coaching. And so one of the things we are opening up to our Burnout to All Out community that are listening in right now to this podcast is a chance to get your questions answered in a live hot seat coaching session with me, yours truly, Melissa Hinault, in our Burnout to All Out community. And the audio will be recorded and you will be debuted in our podcast with your questions. So if that piques your curiosity and you're intrigued, here's the deal. All you have to do is text the word question. Again, text the word question to the number 1-833-310-7171. Again, text the word question to 1-833-310-7171. And when you do that, we will come back to you with another message asking you to submit your question. 2 to 3 lucky people will be selected every single week to be featured in my Facebook community and on my podcast. Looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So as we continue the journey, so you took a leap of faith, left your corporate job, but as I understand it, I mean, you climbed fast and furious to the top of the company that you represent, right? Yeah. You've been wildly successful. Would never look back. It's funny. I had the same conversation with my kids of like, you have no idea what it's like. Like those kids' moms just don't get to like bebop around their business around their life. It's crazy. But you didn't stop there, right? Of course not. I'm going to do that. Right. Well, and I love it because one of the things I tout all the time is build your network marketing business to a place that it becomes this residual passive income. And then you can go do other things, right? And like, clearly you're like an example of that. So tell us, what made you take another leap of faith and start a whole nother business when you've got this one rocking and rolling so well?
Well, it's in my core, like to put my head on the pillow at night and know I've done good work. And like that is super important to me. And as technology and social media and all the things had really shaped and reframed the role that I once played as a coach and mentor to my team. It is now like text messaging and email messaging and DMing and that part. I like people. When I started my network marketing business, there was no Instagram and there was no Amazon Prime. There were no social media influencers. You were posting on Facebook with just text. Like there was, so my kids always joke, like Charlie, who's now 12, like I got my first iPhone like a week before I went into the hospital. So like having a camera on your phone changes things. My other two kids are like, there's never any pictures of me. Like I'm not on Facebook. I'm like, it didn't exist. A lot changed. So I really started, especially in the pandemic, and we were able to like take that pause and, really reflect on what do I want to be when I grow up? Like, what does this next chapter look like? And I knew it had to have a component of being able to have that feeling of helping other people achieve what it is they want. And when I reflect back on how I've always been an athlete, we live a healthy lifestyle. Like my husband is like certified in everything, like CrossFit, yoga, Pilates, all the things. Our kids are athletes, so we're a very healthy family. But I really saw a need for women to be guided in earlier on, not to make mistakes I made, as I was climbing the corporate ladder. And then even as I was building my network business from home, marketing business from home, the habits were not so good. Being able to share that with other women sooner than later, I really felt a calling for that. And it's something that I'm passionate about and something that I enjoy doing. So that kind of winning combination of really tuning into what is it that I enjoy doing and where do I feel most fulfilled? Because knowing me, I feel best when I feel fulfilled.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I love this. So you felt this calling when things got quiet, it sounds like over COVID. What made you or gave you the final leap of faith that like, because I talk about this a lot. It's like, I feel like network marketing is like the stepping stone into entrepreneurship. But with network marketing, it's great. It's low risk, right? And you can create a great income. But at the end of the day, you're still attached to a corporation who has policies, who can tell you what you can and can't say. So I find that it's a great stepping stone of like, if you've been successful in this, like how can you leverage your success in leading people there to create your own damn brand? Like, why do people have to be financially tied to you for you to coach them so that they can be successful, right? So what, and maybe that's just me, but what made you decide, like what gave you that leap of faith of like, I can do this. This is like I'm just going to go out and I'm going to start this Fuller brand and I'm going to be this fledgling out of the nest beyond my kind of mothership that raised me as a, budding entrepreneur. 3 things. Number 1 is I really feel passionately that women, and I'm 47, not getting any younger, but I grew up in a generation in a time where the diet culture was extreme. Like if you ever were on the cabbage soup diet or like all these crazy ass foods we did that really wreaked havoc on your metabolism. Like the crazy diet culture is just no one wins except the people selling diets. And in COVID, where we were spending more time on social media and on our phones and being like, how does anyone know what is healthy for them when there's 17 bajillion things coming at them all the time, telling them this is healthy, that is healthy. And what I had learned with my health is that what works for someone else may not really work for me. And my example was I was CrossFitted for many years. And in the CrossFit culture, paleo is a big way of eating. And so of course, I'll just eat paleo. And so I was eating a lot of butter and bacon and high fat foods. And I ended up with a third boob. I had this big mass kind of poked out of my ribs. So what's that? And I spent a year trying to figure out why I felt like crap all the time. And it changed when I was eating, but it turned out I had a completely dysfunctional gallbladder. My gallbladder did not work. And so why I was eating all these high fat foods was actually making me sick. And if I had just tuned in, when I was eating stuff, oh, that doesn't feel good, then things would have been different. But the things like that along my journey of just really learning, we've got to make a shift in this. And then I, again, with the slowdown of COVID, going to sleep at a regular time, wow, I feel good when I sleep. And I look around and the culture of hustle and work hard and hustle on and all of that, programming just didn't fit anymore. Why do we think as women, we have to put on the hustle? It's it's not long-term and sustainable, right? Yes. Yeah. You get burnt out, you get ill, your relationships suffer, all of it. And then the third one was, what's the worst that could happen? It's huge because so many people are on weight, 15, 20 pounds, right? People went one way or the other, right? They either put on a ton of weight or got really healthy because they had nothing else to do, right? If you just walk while you talk, it's our bodies are made to move. So you put us in a house where you're not moving anywhere. And, it wreaked havoc on a lot of people. And then, that cycle of shame and guilt and beating yourself up doesn't serve anybody. So, oh my gosh, so good. Okay. So knowing your space in really habits for a healthy lifestyle, with our listeners, can you give them 3 tips to a healthier lifestyle? Yeah, for sure. Number 1, first and foremost, is sleep. It is the days of operating on 3 to 5 hours and being glorified for it are long gone. All the data points to
long-term health risk if you do not sleep. Like rest is important. So
it's a joke in our family. I go to bed when my oldest goes to bed, who's 9, because I like to wake up naturally and I like to wake up at like 5 a.m. So like I go to bed at 9 because I don't like waking up to like a jarring alarm. But I agree with you. Like I've never been healthier getting my 8 hours sleep. It's a lifestyle shift. And for some people, it takes months. Some people, it takes weeks. But I think just giving yourself permission of like, it's important. It's a priority, and it's kind of be at the top of the priority sheet. Then where I think we've all learned, like we've like grown up with this idea of like, if I sleep less, I'm better, in the eyes of the world. Number 2, I would say just movement. I stuck in that, cycle of like, if I don't go to the gym, like lift a lot of heavy things, like I'm not working out. It's just silly. So I call it, it's the must of movement. And I wear an Oura ring that, tracks my sleep and my steps. The Apple Watch can do your activity, your steps. If it's a habit you want to change, like having that feedback where you're tracking that really does help. Because if you do sit at a desk and, like if you have to sit for work, you got to find ways to move. And, walking up and down your stairs counts. Like walking around your house counts. Sunday, so much had to get done. So I had done grocery shopping, I had done laundry, I had done cleaning, I had done organized the pantry, I had done all this activities of daily living and got 13,000 steps. And having that awareness of just moving your body in ways that feel good is the place to start. Now, if you can get a workout in to raise your heart rate, put some, lift some weights, because as women, it's important for osteoporosis that we put some weight on our bodies. It doesn't have to be big, heavy weights, but that's important too. But movement is a must. And so with my clients, I do the same. Like I have standing meetings on my calendar, and there are certain standing meetings that I know I don't need to be sitting in front of my computer. And those are walking meetings. Like it's on my calendar. Like these calls, I'm always out walking. And the women that I've helped have them calendar that in, it's fascinating. They really are like, oh, it works. Just walking and talking. And I think the corporate culture is getting more in tune to that. And, you don't have to be sitting at your desk. And then number 3, I would just say, find a way of eating that you honor yourself and food being fuel. I call it honoring your hunger and fullness. But if you slow down enough to recognize like, ooh, my stomach is gurgling, I should probably eat, versus not eating all day. And then you're like hangry, you're stuffing food in your face, like, and you don't even know what you eat. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to eat this meal now. That's the worst thing you can do for your metabolism and just general health. So really, understanding that food is fuel and finding foods that you enjoy eating, that feel good, that make you feel good, and giving yourself permission to prioritize that. Like you need to have good food available for you throughout the week. And so that you can fuel all the other things that you want to be able to go do. Yeah. Awesome. Such good tips. Yeah. And I don't know if you've heard of Daily Harvest. I am a big fan of Daily Harvest because my husband travels a good bit, and there's days where I've got calls back to back. And I am huge on straight up fresh vegetables and fruits, but I don't necessarily have the time to chop between calls, right? So do you have any hacks to that or products or programs that you recommend for people who want to eat clean and healthy, but don't have the time? I'm a huge advocate of Daily Harvest. I'm sure there's other stuff out there.
Yeah. Daily Harvest is awesome. And on my website, I also have wild Alaskan salmon. If you like fish, like having, our grocery stores are just hit or miss to get fresh fish. And so the omegas that are in fresh fish, as women, they all need to be eating it. So I do get my fish shipped to me as well. And different areas now have these booming entrepreneurs that are doing food delivery. I have a woman here in my neighborhood that does salads every week, and I'll order the salads from her. So check the Facebook pages. Freshly is a food service that I've gone on and off for lunches, depending on what my week looks like. And they're prepackaged meals and they're fully cooked. You just have to heat them up. They're all organic naturally, but you can choose vegan, paleo, keto, Mediterranean, choose the type of eating plan that you want. And having those just on hand for those weeks where you just make it easy on yourself. Yes. But I think that the key is having a plan each week. And I'm a paper calendar. This is our family calendar for the week. And one of these goes, I'm on our refrigerator each week. So Sundays, I take an hour and it's the most glorious time where I put everything on the paper calendar for the week, all the activities, and then meal plan for the week so that I know what at least dinners are. And if we're going to be out, it's good, that's going to be an eating out night. But these nights we can eat at home and having that food prepared and then looking at my own business calendar and then consciously think of lunches, what I'm going to do for myself. Keeping yourself on the low end of the priority scale, it just doesn't service your family. No one. Oh, not at all. So good. So many good nuggets. Oh my gosh. Okay. So in a minute, we'll get all your info on where people can find you. So many entrepreneurs need more guidance on this. We just talked about this in my launch. Something I'm passionate about is just how do you fuel yourself to perform? Are you a social seller out there looking to beat the summer slump, looking for some accountability to grow your business and find the business builders of your dreams that want to run with you? Guys, take a listen to some of my former students and how they're doing and their experience inside the LinkedIn training.
I was in corporate America and was looking for something to do on the side that I could tie into my health and wellness routine. And that's where Melissa and I met. And I went through what a lot of people do when they're getting started with network marketing, and it's spinning your wheels and going in the wrong places to find people that can help you grow your business. So Melissa and I connected on LinkedIn, her academy and her vision for how this could help us connect with people that were looking for the same things as us. So I'm successful in doing that, but recruiting, that's what network marketing is all about. And it turns out I was pretty good at it. So I decided to start a recruiting business that tied back into my old world of corporate, which was direct to consumer, e-commerce, wholesaling goods, that type of thing. And I've used all the techniques that you taught me for creating a side hustle, a side income business with my health and wellness company. I've used those same techniques with my recruiting agency, which is now about 6 months old. I've been told from people in the industry, I'm part of a much larger group, that I'm way ahead of the curve on where most people are that are coming into this. And a lot of it is, recruiting, but it's a lot different when you're attracted to those people as opposed to reaching out to those people. Now I do both, but the more I post about jobs, the more I post about what's going on in the industry, the more I post about articles that can be directed towards not only the clients that I'm trying to get, but the people I'm trying to recruit, the bigger my network has grown. And it's amazing now and only 6 months into it, as I'm posting a job, people are reaching out to me and booking a time on my calendar that you taught me.
Okay. So this has been so good. I want to ask you a couple things about reading though, because I'm like a bookworm and I love hearing what other movers and shakers are doing. So what are you reading right now? So I do really good on Audible and podcasts. I am obsessed Blinkist because it's 15-minute snippet summaries of all the things that I really want to read. And subscription, if you haven't heard of Blinkist, it's amazing. Tell us about it. So they're 15-minute summaries of hundreds of thousands of books. You can get the content in a 20-minute power walk of every book you can imagine. Blinkist has re-recorded, and they break down by chapters and just key topics. I just want to go back and listen to or read the whole book. You can do that too. I think Atomic Habits is my Bible. I think for every entrepreneur, we are creatures of habit, good and bad. And when you can really master your habits of the things that you do every day, day in and day out, you start small, and that really does, it can change your life. Yes, it's so true. So true. Well, speaking of that, is there any particular book, and maybe it's Atomic Habits, but any particular book over your years of entrepreneurship that really stick out as being the most profound? There's so many, but I'm going to quit. Sean Aker, he has studied happiness. He has 3 books. I think this is the second one. And he's on Blinkist as well. But he's studied the science of happiness. And it is the science. And he's studied like Harvard grad students and why they're so depressed and unhappy. But then he also takes the science and makes it about how you cultivate happiness in your own life, in your teens, families, and that combination of science and practicality, he blows my mind. Blows my mind. And that's so good. We'll have to have Jackie put that in the show notes for us so people will listen to the podcast. Sean Aker. Well, Alison, this has been so informational. It's been so good just to get to know you. So where can people find you and what kind of offerings do you have going on right now? Yeah. So fullerlifestyle.com is my website. And I'm on social media, Alison Fuller, Alison J. Fuller, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can find me at all the places that I'd love to connect with you. And if you do, like, shoot me a DM. I'd love to follow you back and hear what it is that you are doing. And I have a couple of offerings. I offer a app-based, nutrition and exercise coaching. And then I also offer, which is like my favorite program, which is a 90-day, really tuning into 12 different components of health. And we work together, we set goals every week, and we talk. And then talking about this stuff and unpacking and kind of rewiring your habits around. I find that some people start with the app-based and you just need someone for accountability. But once we can really start unpacking, I guess we were all wired and programmed different ways, and there's no judgment on it. Awesome. Yeah. So where can people find you? fullerlifestyle.com. There you go. And that'll be in the show notes for those that catch the recording later. So, Alison, as we're wrapping up, I love to always ask my guests, thinking about our audience listening who are, maybe they've got one foot in and one foot out, like with their business. If you had like one piece of advice to take that leap of faith into entrepreneurship and cannonball in, what would be your piece of advice? I'd say just bet on yourself. And that goes like, no one is going to believe in you until you believe in yourself. And bottom line. And so it does start with you. And if you do the inner work to cultivate that every day, and I have like affirmations that come up on my phone all the time. I'm subscribed to positivity podcasts, and I fill my brain with messaging because we can all be self-doubters and it's really easy to pick ourselves apart. But I think that mental game is the biggest because you're going to have, people look at you like you're crazy. My dad looked at me like I was crazy for many years. And all I said was like, well, this is going to take care of you when you're old. So you can knock it or you can like just get on the bandwagon. And so you're going to have people that are feeding you that energy, and you've got to be able to deflect, give them some love, and you stay focused on what it is that you're wanting to achieve. Yes. Oh my gosh. Such good advice. Well, thank you so much for jumping on here today. Thank you. You can go find Alison on all the platforms. You can go check her out on her website. Just so inspirational. I'm so glad that you were able to make it today. And I'm sure I'll be following you on social after this. Right back at you. Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks for listening to the Burnout to All Out podcast. For free resources, materials, or information on my coaching services, go ahead over to livethefreelife.co. That's livethefreelife.co. Or check out our Facebook community at Burnout to All Out, and make sure you follow Burnout to All Out on Spotify and subscribe to iTunes. And it would truly mean the world to me if you paused for just a second, gave me that 5-star review of the show, and be sure to share this episode with any burnouts you think would be inspired to go all out after hearing this episode.